Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Corner HVAC. I'm glad you joined me today. Now, if you hadn't noticed, things are a little bit different. Typically, I do my recordings in my service van or my work truck, either at lunch or after hours or something along those lines. I feel that it shows technicians that I'm out in the field or I have been out in the field doing the kind of work that you do. Just the same as homeowners, it shows that I am out in the industry and the advice that I give can be trusted and taken to heart. But today, I am in a different location. If you hadn't noticed, my surroundings are a little bit different. There's good reasoning behind that. I am currently hiding from the government. They are scary, scary individuals these days, and I'm absolutely terrified. So I am holding myself up in here and not coming out until something is different. Okay, so that out of the way. Truth be told, I am not hiding from the government. Well, I do try to hide as much as possible, but I'm not really hiding from the government. I'm actually at home with my daughter. She's been ill. Don't worry, nothing horrible, not the evil COVID word. Oop, not supposed to say that, or anything like that. It's just normal stuff. She's going to be just fine. But I have been off work a couple of days, so I thought I'd do a recording at home while I was here. So what I actually wanted to talk about today was purchasing a new furnace or air conditioner. I know I've done a couple of videos about this already, and some of the things that you should ask and some of the information you should get and all these different things. But I get messages all the time, and I have people asking, what should the price be? Or is this price fair? I've had a few people even send me pictures of their quotes from a different portion of the country that I live in and say, does this look fair to you? It's hard to say. There are a lot of variables in there. So today, I'd like to go through some of those different variables that we need to look at to see if your price quote is fair or not. I have a lot of different ideals behind purchasing new equipment. A furnace and air conditioner is an expensive investment for your home. It's one of the more expensive investments from your home, unless you're doing a huge add-on or something like that. But think about all the appliances in your house, refrigerator, stove, water heater, washer, dryer, put a new roof on the house, put new windows in the house, all these different things like that. The heating and air, your HVAC system ranks pretty high cost-wise on that list. So you need to be very careful what you're getting into whenever you do look at these quotes. But don't necessarily look at a quote, have a number in your head, and when you look at that number is bigger than the number in your head, and you're like, oh, no, that's too much money. He is asking too much from me. He or she is trying to get one over on me. That's not necessarily true. For one, if you are a homeowner out there right now, can you tell me for sure, assuming you have not purchased a furnace or air conditioning system here recently, do you think you could accurately tell me what the price for a new HVAC system in your house is? Still waiting. No? Or maybe you can. Maybe you've bought one lately, or maybe your neighbor bought one, or maybe you bought one 10 years ago and you think you know what the price should be. I'm not out here to say that heating air equipment is expensive and you should just pay whatever they say to pay for it. I am not saying that by any means. You need to be very smart about this investment. But all these variables we look at. Okay, let's go number one. I get a lot of questions about, my neighbors put in a system and it cost them, let's say, $6,000. I'm going to make up some numbers here. Let's say they said that theirs cost $6,000. And then next year you go to get one for your house and the contractor says $10,000. And you're like, well, I need to use the other contractor because, there's $4,000 difference here. Well, you have to look at all the different variables. Is your neighbor's house the exact same size as your house? Is your neighbor's house anything like your house at all? You have to make sure you're dealing with the same equipment, the same needs, and all this kind of stuff. Maybe you wanted extra indoor air quality products put onto your system. Maybe you wanted the upgraded with better warranties or with better parts, better warranties, and all the extra bells and whistles that go along there. And yes, I did notice that I think I said warranties twice. Whatever. I don't do much with editing, so this is what you get. But anyways, maybe you wanted the extras on there, or maybe you didn't. But either way, their house is usually not the exact same as yours. Maybe the advisor got in there and saw that you needed new ductwork. Maybe your ductwork was too small for the new system. Maybe your ductwork was rusted out underneath because your sump pump underneath your house quit and you didn't know it, and it caused moisture and it caused rust. And we should really get rid of all that metal ductwork in a crawl space anyways. It does need to be insulated, but that's a topic for another video. But, is their house exactly the same as yours? Maybe, maybe not, but you do have to look at that. The other side to that is what equipment are you looking at? Again, we have, with gas furnaces, I've got some other videos out there on the efficiencies and the SEER ratings of air conditioners. Be sure to look those up on the channel. I had to get that extra little blurt in there. But, there's different equipment. Not all furnaces are the same. Everybody looks at it as like, oh, I just need a furnace. I just need a natural gas furnace, or I need a propane furnace. No, that's not how that works. There's different brands, there's different manufacturers, there's different models, there's different efficiency ratings, all kinds of things in there. So you have to know what you're looking at. That way you can compare apples to apples. Because, if you compare apples to oranges, they're two completely different things. So you can't really compare them, right? So you have to make sure you're looking at the same thing. Now, that is also brings me around to where I always say, always get multiple quotes. Even clients that we have that I talk to, if they want to get other quotes, go for it. Now, if you have a contractor, and like where I work, we have a lot of clients that they have purchased multiple systems from us over the years. Maybe in a different house, or 20 years ago, they bought one now, and maybe they've had family members that have always used the same contractor. If you have a trusted contractor that is always doing you right, stick with the same one by all means. But if you don't have a favorite contractor, if you've never had to call for service before, you don't do maintenance like you should, or all these different things, well, maybe you should get multiple quotes. I always recommend multiple quotes unless you know for sure, hands down, that you want to go with that company. I always recommend 3. 3 quotes is the way to do it, because then you can take them all, sit them side by side, and see if they really are apples to apples, so you can compare. Most quotes from different companies will come in at different prices. Typically, if all the contractors are doing about the same thing and about the same equipment, a lot of times we are dealing with different brands, so there's different pricing, everybody has different labor rates, everybody has different material quotes, all this kind of stuff, but they should come in fairly close to each other. Now, if you have 2 that are $10,000 and you have one that's $16,000, I would be asking that $16,000 salesman why his is $16,000. Now, I'm not saying beat up on your salesman. I'm not saying that guy's too high, I just don't want his. Maybe, just maybe, he is doing 10 times better than the other ones, and that's why he's charging more for it. And maybe it is the better bang for your buck, and it is the one that you're looking for. Expensive is not always better, but cheap is not always better either. You have to figure out where you're going with that. And once you get all the quotes in there, you can see what each and every person has, all 3 of them, or however many you want to do. I've known people to get 5 or 6 quotes before and then compare them all together. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But set them all down side by side and say, okay, this one has this, and this one has this, and this one has this, or maybe they're all exactly the same. If they're not the same, talk to that salesman and say, this is the quote that I have here. Can you do the exact same thing? As far as material and furnace and efficiency and all that kind of stuff. I normally don't recommend, price cutting in order to beat the other guy's quote. I don't believe in that. I believe my time is worthwhile, when I go out to work. And I believe the company that I work for, I believe that we are worth every dollar that we say. And, salesmen that go out and, excuse my expression, but slice their prices or cut their own throat just to get the sale, usually are not the quality salesman or the quality company. Because if they're willing to dump all kinds of money just so they get the sale, me personally, I would rather go out there and know that the price that I'm charging is exactly accurate for what you need, and this is the best for you and your home. That's what we're looking for, is comfort and efficiency and longevity of that system. So we need to know that we are putting the right system in. So if you got that one guy that comes in at like $3,000 and everybody is like $10,000, I'm guessing you're not getting everything that you're really wanting for your home, But the other thing is, as far as variables out there on all the different pricing and the equipment and everything, it depends completely on your area. I'm in more of a rural area where I'm at, so our prices sometimes are a little less than what they are in the city. You drive a couple hours from where I'm at and you can get to a city with, 500,000 people or whatever. And then you can get into some of the bigger cities. You drive a little further away. I said we're pretty rural, but some of those big cities that have all kinds of people in there and all kinds of contractors, prices are always higher. Everybody knows it costs more to live in the city than it does in the country. I talk to all those people that say, oh, well, you can't make any money in the country. You make so much more money when you go work in the city. That's true. Your hourly wages, your yearly salary, everything is higher in the city. That's an absolute fact. But so is your cost of living. Just like these furnaces and air conditioners that we're talking about investing in, they are more expensive in the city. So that's just part of it. Kind of like when I talk about in some of the videos with how much does a service technician make? It depends on where you're at. I could go to New York City and make way more money than I'm making right now. But my cost of living is going to triple, if not more, than what I have here. So in the long run, it's not that big of a jump, So it's just like your equipment. It is more expensive in certain areas. So you have to understand where you live. The other thing is watch the price of everything else around you. I remember when, a gallon of milk was like a couple of bucks or whatever, or a gallon of gas. I remember when I started driving, a gallon of gas was 98 cents. And it is not that now. I don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but right now we've got a lot of things that are going on with our government and the world today and all this kind of stuff, whatever. I'm not going to get too far into that. But, we're paying $5 a gallon for gasoline right now where I'm at. Dude, I'm in the rural country area. Like I said before, usually our gas prices are pretty decent. If you compare them to anywhere in California, sorry, Californians, but California sucks, or New York City or Atlanta or anything like that, normally they're higher than us. We are $5 a gallon where I'm at right now. That's outrageous. So if you look at that, to your furnace and air that you're looking at investing into, that furnace that, I don't know, 10 years ago was like $5,000-$6,000. How much more does it cost to ship that furnace and air from the manufacturer where they build it to the distributor, to the dealer, to your house? It costs way more to do that. Just the same as the cost of living with everything is higher. The wages that the employees are being paid are way higher now than what they were years ago. It is an astronomical jump. What I make an hour now versus what I started at 22 years ago, but that is cost of living has changed. And there's also more into that, what you can do changes and everything else, but everything is more expensive. So if you bought a furnace and air 5 years ago, yeah, it's going to be more expensive than it is now. I come along all kinds of clients that say, oh yeah, I bought a 5-ton air conditioner like 8 years ago, and I'll be about $3,000, I think. So, I don't even need a salesman. I'll give you $3,000 for it. No, bud, that's not how it works. That is not how it works whatsoever. So if you are one of those clients out there that does think that way, I'm sorry, but you need to reevaluate your thinking on this kind of thing, because the cost of living of everything has gone up. So your cost of living has increased, which means all those things: a gallon of milk, a gallon of gas, a furnace and air conditioner go along with that too. Nobody ever thinks about the furnace and air when it comes to that kind of thing, but it is an investment into your home, and it is a pretty big investment. So you have to make sure you're accurate when you look at everything. Like I said, I always recommend getting multiple quotes and look at all the details. Don't just look at the number. Now, if you've got a company that is, they're $3,000 less, but you read all the fine print and they don't have warranties, they don't have guarantees or any of that kind of stuff, that's an issue. Of course it's more, it is cheaper than the other guy, but the other guy offers 10-year part and labor warranty, lifetime heat exchanger warranty, lifetime unit replacement warranty, 100% satisfaction guarantee, temperature guarantees, and no lemons guarantees. I mean, the list goes on, all these different things, to where if you have problems 10 years from now, something will be taken care of. But if you go with that guy that's $3,000 less, if you got a problem 6 months from now, you could be screwed, bud. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but that's realistic. That's what it is. So just make sure you look very close. Don't just look at that dollar amount, and, put time and effort, just like you're watching these videos. Put time and effort into your research on purchasing a new furnace and air conditioning system, or, you know, an electric furnace, heat pump, geothermal, whatever it is, do your research. That way you know what you're looking for and you know what you're talking about. And it will impress your salespeople to come out, because they will be able to have a good, honest, open conversation with you. That dialogue is there because you know some of the terms, you know some of the information, and so do they. Now, granted, they're going to know a little more than you unless you do this for a living, but you can have a decent conversation with them and find out which one's apples to apples and which one's apples to oranges, you know? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. The video went a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off now. If you do have any questions, always hit me up in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I hear from people all over the place, and keep asking questions. I love it. The advice that I can give, if it does actually help somebody, I love being able to do that. This is my outlet to be able to reach further than my basic community as far as heating and air. So, you know, you guys out there, you are my HVAC community. So please ask me the questions. I'm more than happy to read them and reply. As always, I beg you, please subscribe, give it a big thumbs up, you know, hit the like button, and always, always share with your friends. Have a great day.